Yes, hello and good morning everyone. So, welcome to our lecture series. Okay, so ito ay pinamagatang The Chef in the Food Service Industry. So, this is from the basics of culinary fundamentals, kitchen essentials, and some of what we call the French cuisines and how does it work para sa kaalaman ng mga estudyante. And this will give you a little background about what the chef and the food industry is all about. Ayan. So, to start with, so of course, I congratulate everyone to be, of course, in this class. Okay? So, yung mga nakikinig ngayon, so sana ay makapulot tayo ng mga information about this one, especially in culinary arts and fundamentals and kitchen essentials. To start with, ito po. Okay, chefs and the restaurants. So, pag-uusapan natin yung mga chefs and restaurants. So, if we talk about chefs and restaurants, we always talk about quality and quantity of the food. So, they are the one who is producing the food. They are the one who is selling the food to the people. And, of course, restaurants are elaborating dining needs. And for the chefs, of course, iba-ibang lahi ito, no? So, we have what we call Asian, Native American, European or American or African or any people who has pride. So, ito yung isa sa mga kinagigiliwan ng lahat. At kailangan meron nito, no? So, kung mapapansin nyo yung mga kusinero natin, they have a sense of pride of what they have done. And, of course, education and experience to cook. Pero kasi nowadays, pag galing ka sa mga culinary schools, pag-graduate mo, ang tawag sa'yo, chefs, ano? Pero, this is totally different in the industry. So, when you go to the industry, it's totally different, ano? It is not being practiced na whether you graduated from a culinary school, you will be called as a chef right away. Even though yun yung pinag-aralan mo, pero at least, the education doesn't suffice all the needs to be called as one of the chefs. Dapat kailangan din you are experienced. Yan, experience in the word na nagtrabaho ka ng matagal sa kusina, you rose from the bottom going up to the high positions that you have. Ayan, so we tend to talk about chefs and restaurants in the culinary days, especially during the historical period of time. Okay? So, cooking. The same thing, so this lesson or this module will talk about cooking. Cooking is more about the transfer of energy from heat source to a food. So, kung babalikan natin during syempre, ang mga pumapasok sa college, normally in the Philippine setup is coming from the high school grade 12 setup. So, they have what we call TVL, HE, and of course, tourism background. So, when we talk about science dito sa kusina, so hindi lang natin pinag-uusapan ang pagluluto per se, but we talk about science as well. And it involves cooking. So, cooking as a science. So, ito yon. There is what we call transfer of energy from the heat source to a food. And the preparation of food for consumption of others. Now, if we talk about cooking and transfer of energy, so kung pinag-aralan natin ng high school, during your high school day, ay meron tayong tinatawag na direct heat, di ba? So, we have what we call direct heat, we have thermal heat, we have what we call radiations, and we have what we call infrareds. But, in this case, gagawin din natin yon, ano? Nagagamit din yon sa kusina. And this transfer of energy is important because it is necessary for us to know and necessary for us to gain knowledge about how this energy actually applies in cooking, in culinary. Ayan. So, lagi natin tandaan na if we are cooking, there is what we call transfer of energy. At the same time, there is what we call preparation of food for the consumption of others. Cookery. So, pag sinabi naman natin cookery meaning it is the art, the practice, or work of cooking. So, hindi lang natin pinag-aaralan yung science, but we also practice art. So, sa dati nga, di ba, ang unang subject matter when it comes to cookery is what we call ang tawag dito, what is called cookery science and arts. Okay? So, culinary arts and sciences. So, ito yung mga paraan na how are you going to deal with art as well while you were cooking, and how are you going to deal with sciences. So, yung transfer of energy, how does the reaction of the food comes from, so papaano yon, and how are you going to deal with this kind of energy, especially if you are going to cook an item, and if you are going to plate an item, and how you are going to plate up the item pagkatapos mong magluto, ano. So, cookery is not just a science, but it is also an art. And it's also a practice because we need to present this one, okay, sa ating mga customer or sa ating bahay, for example. Yan. So, nagluluto naman tayo sa bahay natin, and we tend to present the food nicely for the consumption of our family and friends. Tsaka sa sarili na din. Ayan. Professional cooking. So, ito naman yung kaibahan, no? Professional cooking is totally different from the cooking itself. Pag sinabi nating professional cooking, there is what we call the system. It is a system of cooking na based on knowledge, appreciation of ingredients, and procedures. So, they tend to, they tend to appreciate more the ingredients and procedures. So, pag nakakita tayo ng isang sibuyas, for example, isang onion, we don't actually just set aside the onion, but we appreciate the onion all about. So, there is what you call appreciation of every ingredients and appreciation of the procedures na meron tayo. Basta, pag professional cooking, ito na yan. So, ito na yung ginagamit sa mga restaurant. Ginagawa ng mga chefs sa restaurant, sa hotels. And, especially kapag cooking tayo, mere home cooking tayo. So, it's just a cookery method. But, professional cooking is totally different from home cooking. Ayan. Next, history of professional chefs. The history of professional chefs are mostly French. So, mamaya, makikita natin na why does the French country insisted that they are, they are sophisticated, they are above of all those country na kami yung nauna, at kami yung gagayahin, kami yung basic, kami yung foundation. So, the cast are mostly French, and the development of restaurant and the way of cooking and eating are actually being done by the French people. And of course, when we talk about history of professional chefs, the development of dishes, effectivity, and efficiency at different times from different diners and people. So, makikita natin yung evolving stages of what we call professional chefs pag diniscuss na natin tong history of professional chefs natin mamaya. Okay? As we go along, the first prominent person, kasi sabi nga natin, di ba? The first prominent person is Caterina de Medici. Caterina de Medici, from the year 1533, is from a powerful Italian family. So this is from the 14th to 16th century. You know? So even though that Caterina de Medici comes from Italy, okay, but during her time, he tends to go to France kasi 'di ba during the time of war, so yung French, yung France sila talaga ay sumasali sa mga giyera. And Caterina de Medici is from the prominent family. So, syempre, napapangasawa yung ganitong hari, okay? So, lumilipat sila. Not only Caterina de Medici, but also some royalty people. So, kung mapapansin din natin that the French cuisine is more of what we call, hindi naman, more of what we call extravagant, no? Extravagant, and another one is more of what we call royalty. Yan. So, when we talk about Caterina de Medici, ang isa sa mga legend ng kanya ay bringing all of the chefs, okay, of her, sorry, his ang nakalagay dito, all of her chefs to from Italy to France. So, according to the legend as well, this is the turning point of culinary. Okay, the turning point of culinary where Italy and not France is the starting point. Kaya nag-aaway sila, no? So, sino ba talaga? So, Italian ba talaga o Frances? But as the Italian chef teaches the Frenchman, the recipes and techniques of cooking were being adapted, okay, as they go along. So, if we are going to talk about the history, so ito yung history natin, ano, it is actually written in the books that Italian are the one who are prominent during the time in cooking was transferred to France because of Caterina de Medici. Kasi, syempre, during that time, merong gera, kung sinabi ko nga kanina. So, lumilipat yung mga royalty people. Ayan. So, this is the turning point sa Caterina de Medici during the 1533. During the 18th century naman, restaurant is derived from the word restaurer, meaning to restore. So, restaurer is being used, okay, during that time. Kaya nga sinasabi natin the word restorative has been used to describe rich and highly flavored soup or stews capable of storing loss or strength. So, bakit ba ganito yung word na to? Because of war, so ano ba ang lagi nating kinakain? So, lagi tayong soup, So, restorative. Okay, restorative. So, kailangan meron daw soup or stews. So, kung mapapansin natin sa mga movies, most of the time, what they are eating is soup just because they want to restore the energy, meaning restorative. So, doon nakuha yung word na restaurer at naglaon ay nagkaroon ng tinatawag na restaurant. Ayan. Henry IV of France. So, as we go along, okay, Henry IV of France during the 1553 to 1610, he tend to monopolize on preparing certain food items. So, he built the guilds. So, yung guilds natin, yung sinasabing guilds, ang guilds are what we call workers, and part of that workers are cooks. So, pag sinabing guilds are not just cooks, no? So, may iba-iba pang skilled people na tinatawag ay guilds. Pero ang kabuuang tawag sa kanila ay guilds. So, what Henry IV did is to monopolize those guilds in preparing food. So, meron silang tinatawag na, meron siyang isa doon na binanggit na ang isang pamilya ay kailangang sa kanilang hapag ay merong pagkaing manok. Okay? So, ito yun, yung pot of chicken on their table. So, he just want to monopolize everything because yun naman ang ginagawa ng hari during that time. Okay? So, in the culinary world, in the culinary history, ito yung isa sa mga prominente na ginawa ni Henry IV that to monopolize on preparing a certain food items, which is what we call yung tinatawag na restorative or what we call soup or stews. Ayan. Next is the French claim. So, during this time, so sinasabi rin ng mga Pranses na kami ang unang nag-open ng first modern restaurant. So, this is from the time na 1765. And, makikita naman sa mga history books natin na the French claim was actually valid. Okay? So, sila naman lagi yung nananalo sa gera, sa war. So, most of the documents are actually written by them. So, sabi nga natin, di ba, the one who writes the history is the one who won the war. So, ayan yan. So, kiniklaim naman nila. And, merong mga nag-a-attest, pero most probably and most of them are sumasang-ayon naman na, hindi. The first restaurant talaga is from the France. Okay. So, we have been discussing kanina si Caterina de Medici. We have been discussing Henry IV. And the next one is what we call Monsieur Boulanger. Okay. Monsieur Boulanger is actually written from the Larousse Gastronomie. Okay. Or Larousse Gastronomy. So, it's meaning yung history ng food natin. Monsieur Boulanger is a Parisian tavern. So, he is one of the first person to hang a sign advertising the sale of a special restorative. So, ano nga ba yung restorative natin? No? Ang restorative natin is isang soup, isang stew. Pero yung dish na to ay tinatawag na chief feet in ng white sauce. Ibig sabihin, chief feet in white sauce. So, noon pa man, so, gumagamit na tayo ng tinatawag, gumagamit na sila, tayo, gumagamit na sila ng tinatawag na offal meat. Okay? Gumagamit na sila ng offal meat. And this offal meat is, offal means, ito yung mga patapon na meat na So, gumagamit sila nun. So, dish, which, the dish is a sheep feet in white sauce. So, ano ba yung mga offal meat na tinatawag? So, ito yung mga laman loob, intestines, okay? Yung paa, okay? Yung ulo. So, they are what the liver, for example. So, ito yung mga offal meat na tinatawag. So, yung mga patapon na. So, we have what we call prime meats as well. Okay? Ano yung mga prime natin? Yung first class meats natin. So, ito yung mga tenderloins, di ba? So, kapag pinag-aralan natin yung mga first class meat natin. So, ito yung mga first cuts natin. The second class meats are those meats which are yung mga hips na, okay, mga shoulder, okay, so ito yon. And, so noon pa man, so gumagamit na sila ng offal meat at ginagamit nila yung offal meat na to sa kanilang restorative. And what is that offal meat? A sheep feet. Tapos anong ginamit niya? It's a white sauce. But, because of this, Monsieur Boulanger was being sued by the guilds or cooks. Kasi nga, monopolized noon, di ba? So, sabi ng mga cooks, why are you selling these prepared dishes? Okay? So, medyo magulo pa sa France noon. Pero, since na going in transition sila sa tinatawag na revolution and industrialization. Okay? Kailangan ng magtrabaho ng mga tao. Kasi, di ba, gera, ito yung pinagmulan nila. So, they have to, again, to think kung paano sila kikita. And one of them is what we call Monsieur Boulanger. Pero, syempre, hindi naman nainggit, So, nagreklamo yung iba na bakit ka nagbibenta ng pagkain. But, because of this, he got his triumph at the court. So, nanalo naman siya, So, dinidemand. Nirereklamo siya ng ibang cooks, but nananalo naman siya. And, in that case, kaya naman sinasabi sa mga history books na, ang France ang unang nagbukas ng restaurant. So, it opens the public eye to an on-premise dining. So, kung mapapansin natin, so, in our lodging lodging subject natin, lodging industry, intro to lodging subject, is a tavern. So, ano ba yung tavern, So, ang tavern, kapag dinescribe natin, is just parang bar, pero meron siyang meron siyang kwarto sa taas, ano. So, if we are going to imagine what a tavern is tingnan lang natin yung kwento ni ano no, ni Rapunzel on Disney. So, that is an example of a tavern, no. So, nung gumala si Rapunzel, nung umalis si Rapunzel, ay napunta siya sa isang tavern, sa isang bar. Okay, then kumanta sila doon yung I Have a Dream, kung alam nyo yon. Then, this one, makikita mo doon na ang tavern, ganito ang itsura ng tavern. Isang inuman siya, tapos meron siyang inuman, tapos meron siyang isang bar, tapos meron siyang kwarto sa itaas. So, in that case, ito na yung pagsisimula ng public sa on-premise. Pag sinabi nating on-premise meaning inside, okay, the establishment. Pag sinabi naman nating off-premise, this one is outside of the establishment. Another prominent personality in this history is Anton Beauvillier. So, from the year 1754 to 1817. So, he is a former steward. So, pag sinabing steward is a waitstaff or a waiter, is a server from a prominent personalities. Ano? And what Beauvillier did is the advanced development of restaurant. So, anong ginawa niya? So, gumawa naman siya ng mga menu listing of available dishes. Kung si Monsieur Boulanger, ang ginawa niya ay naghang ng first dish. So, ang ginawa naman ni Boulanger ay naghang ng dish. Ang ginawa naman ni Beauvillier is to develop the menu listing available dishes ng isang restaurant. Okay? So, he also prominent in training wait staff and doing elegant table setting. So, kung makikita natin sa mga books, makikita natin sa mga movies, kapag mga European cuisines, so napakaraming plato, napakaraming kubiertos, napakaraming baso. It's because of the royalty touch. So, ito yung isa sa mga kalakasan, okay, sa mga skill ni Anton Beauvillier. Ayan. French Revolution. So, because of the French Revolution, going to industrialization, okay, the guilds or the cooks are being abolished. So, dahil nga, gera na, diba? So, this one, yung gera, napilitan na yung mga guilds, not only cooks, no, but sinabi nga natin as we define guilds are skilled people in one country. So, inabolish na siya, no, and the aristocracy, chefs, left the country and lost their jobs. So, yung mga tao in France, especially yung mga duke, especially yung mga royalty people, ay nawala na. So, sinaman na rin nila, parang ginagawa ni Caterina de Medici, di ba? So, sinasama na rin nila yung mga guilds nila kung saan sila pupunta. But, because of this, dahil na-open na yung public eye nila because of Monsieur Boulanger, and few chefs open a restaurant to urbanize France. So, that's why, kinakatigan na, ang France ay isa, or hindi isa, kundi nangunguna, na nagbukas ng unang restaurant sa buong mundo. Because they want to urbanize France, going to industrialization. Ayan. Early 19th century. So, during the early 19th century, ito naman yan, more and more restaurants opened. Okay? So, marami, no? So, it opens the public eye from Monsieur Boulanger to the revolution of the France. Tapos, nagkaroon ng catering a wide clientele, ano? So, kinikater nila yung mga wider clientele natin, wider people. So, not just because you are an aristocrat. So, yung ibang mga tao din ay nakakain na din sa mga kainan, no, sa mga restaurant. And during that time, no, Paris were serving elaborate meals. Ayan. So, dito na, so since na-open na yung public eye on restaurant and dining needs, nagkakaroon na tayo ng elaborate meals, and the public was open to grand cuisine and haute cuisine. And speaking of grand cuisine or haute cuisine, these are the first cuisine that is being established in France. Nakuha po. And what is the best thing about this one is dito na nagsimula yung foundation of cooking natin. What grand cuisine or haute cuisine is all about. And dahil dito, na-open, 'di ba, na-open na yung mga public eye natin sa mga restaurant. So, tinawag na yung mga restaurant person na restaurateur. So, these are the one who operates the establishment about serving the food such as restaurant. And of course, kapag naman hotel ka, sorry, hindi ko na ilagay dito, no, restaurant lang. Hotelier naman ang tawag sa'yo. But, so since we are talking about restaurant and we are talking about culinary industry, so eto yon, restaurateur ang tawag sa kanila. A person who owns and operates an establishment which is, of course, serving food such as restaurant. If we talk about grand cuisine or haute cuisine, grand cuisine is more of what we call a rich, intricate, and elaborate cuisine for French aristocracy. So, nagawa siya because of aristocracy. Ayan. And for the upper classes. So, kapag sinabing grand cuisine or haute cuisine, ito ay para sa mga aristocrat. Okay? This is based on rational identification, the development and adaptation of strict culinary principles. So, what they really want is this, strict culinary tayo. So, there is no substitution at all. So, pag sinabi natin, kailangan ko ng figs, okay? F-I-G-S. So, figs talaga yung kailangan ko. O kailangan ko ng artichoke lang talaga yung kailangan ko. Because they follow the strict culinary principle. This is more of what we call classic, no? Iba pala yung classic. This is what we call yung mga mga talagang sinauna, Okay? Kasi hindi mo siya pwedeng baliin. So, grand cuisine or haute cuisine, ito yon. It is emphasizing the how and why of cooking. So, kailangan alam mo and kailangan alam mo ding sagutin kung bakit mo niluluto yung bagay na yon. So, there is what we call strict compliant when you are going to use grand or haute cuisine. And also, grand and haute cuisine is more of what we call traditional cooking and regional cuisine. So, sa mga regions natin, okay, meron tayong mga tradisyon na ginagawa. So, at napapractice yun, napapractice during that time. So, ibig sabihin na, kailangan, strict compliance tayo. Ito yung gagawin natin. That is grand cuisine or haute cuisine. Next is what we call cuisine bourgeoisie or bourgeois, kung tawagin. Okay? Cuisine bourgeois is the food and taste of the middle class. Okay? And this is actually the blending of techniques and styles, no? So, hindi lang technique kasama yung styles ng grand cuisine. Ibig sabihin yung tradition. And this is mere home cooking away from home. So, most likely, ang mga cuisine bourgeois ay isa sa mga sikat noon, Because ito yung mga kilala ang mga cuisine bourgeois. I'll give you an example. Example is this one, yung mga naglalayag before. Okay? Yung mga nasa ship, nasa barko. Okay? One prominent example of this is the looking for the Spice Island. For example, sila Magellan, for example. They are mere home away from home cooking. So, ang gusto nila is, sige, sakay natin yan sa barko, yung mga ingredients na yan. At habang nasa barko tayo, magluluto tayo ng pagkain natin kahit wala tayo sa bansa natin. And this is what we call cuisine bourgeois. Okay? Or bourgeoisie. Yan. Cuisine bourgeois. Okay. Marie Antoine Karim. Okay. Marie Antoine Karim from 1783 to 1833. So, He is one of the master ng tinatawag ng Grand Cuisine or Haute Cuisine. So, kung sinasabi natin na may mga celebrity chef, maybe he is one of the celebrity chef of his time. He became the most prestigious chef of his time and known as the Cook of Kings and the King of Cooks. Another one is, kung mapapansin nyo, no, he is an abandoned child of Paris. Tapos, nagtrabaho din siya as a cook's helper. Bago siya maging kilala, the most prestigious chef of his time. So, ano ba ang ginawa ni Marie Antoine Carême? Si Marie Antoine Carême naman ay famous na kusinero, famous na chef of the diplomat of France, Prince and King of England, and diplomat of Russia. So talagang siya ang kailangan, siya ang kailangan chef ng mga aristocrat. Okay, siya ang kailangan ng mga royalty. And next is create the presentation of food. So kung may father, so 'di ba sa science may father of this, a father of that. Sa culinary siguro kung may father, it is Marie Antoine Carême because of Haute Cuisine and Grand Cuisine. What he did actually, which is being prominent, being used nowadays, until now, is what we call the standardized use of thickening agents. So if we are going to talk about thickening agents are most used in the restaurant and hotels, especially in cooking. Kasi ito yung ginagamit nila sa mga sauces nila, sa mga soups nila. And it is important because it embodies the structure of the sauce or the soup kung gusto nilang malapot or what. So ano nga ba yung thickening agent? A thickening agent is a combination of flour and fat. Not only flour, but not only flour, but it includes fat, So kung kailangan natin ng fat, not only butter, but you can also use oil. So this thickening agent is being used to thicken the sauces. So one example of it is what we call roux. Okay, so siguro mag-open muna ako ng Word, teka lang. Open tayo ng Word para makita natin. Ayan. Para ma-explain natin kung paano ba talaga siya. Ayan. So if we talk about thickening agent, we are talking about roux. So pronounced as R-O-O. So roux, ang example niya is flour plus fat. So hindi tayo nag-i-stick lang, Hindi tayo nag-i-stick lang sa butter. So it can be a butter or fat. Yan. Pero ang flour and fat natin dapat must be, okay, this must be cooked. Ayan. So if you're going to cook this thickening agent, okay, we call this one as a roux. So flour and fat is what we call a roux. But we have three kinds of roux, and these kinds are white roux, okay, blonde roux, and of course brown roux or dark roux. Ayan. So in some lessons that we have, so ilalabas natin yan, So pahapyaw lang muna natin gagawin. So how the white roux and the blonde roux and the brown roux are being used. So yung white roux natin, of course, syempre kung white siya, so ginagamit siya sa mga white sauces. Okay. Blonde natin, of course, sa mga blonde sauces natin. Ayan. Nakuha po ba? Okay. Bland sauces or what we call cream sauces. Okay. Dark is for what we call brown sauces. Ayan. So, depende kung paano mo lulutuin yung roux, ano. So, if you're going to cook the roux ng less than 3 minutes or 2 minutes, okay? So, syempre, white yan. Kung i-cook mo naman siya ng medyo bland ng konti, so, eto yon. And kung gagawin mo naman siyang dark, it must be on a nutty flavor. So, kapag naaamoy mo na yung nutty flavor, tama na yan. Brown roux na ang tatama doon. And this roux actually has its own and its uses, di ba? So, hindi pwedeng, gumawa ko ng brown roux tapos gagawin ko sa white sauces. So, hindi pwede. So, kung white sauces tayo, so white roux tayo. Kung cream o bland sauces tayo, bland roux tayo. Kung dark sauces tayo, brown roux tayo. And another thickening agent is what we call beurre manier. Beurre means butter. Okay? Beurre manier or beurre manier. Beurre manier means a roux which is uncooked. Okay? So, hindi luto. Ano? So, pwede mong paghaluin yung flour and butter. Okay? Pwede mo siyang paghaluin yung flour and butter. Pero, hindi luto. Then, afterwards, ilalagay ko siya sa sauce para maging thickening agent. So, ito yung kagandahan ng ginawa ni Marie Antoine Carême. Another thickening agents that we have is what we call slurry. And when we talk about slurry is about cornstarch. Okay? Cornstarch plus water. Ayan. So, this is an example of a thickening agent which is very accessible, ano? So, kuha ka lang ng cornstarch and water, so tunawin mo. So, pwede mo na siyang maging thickening agent. Another thickening agent is what we call whitewash. And whitewash is a flour tsaka tubig. Flour and water. But, this one is not advisable. So, I do not recommend this one. No? Is not advisable. Pero, kung walang-wala talaga, okay, you can use whitewash. Bakit para sa amin, no, so sa mga modern cuisines, sa mga modern chefs, no, hindi na natin ginagamit yung whitewash. It is because there is a taste ng harina na maasim. So it's actually maasim, ano? So it's actually sour. Okay? So maasim yung natural flavor ng harina. So kapag hinalo mo siya sa tubig at hindi naman talaga siya naluto, okay, ang mangyayari niyan ay may natural flavor na maasim siya. So that's why kung makikita mo sa mga kantuhan lang yung mga fish balls natin. So once you taste na ang isang manong sauce ng fish ball, for example, ay maasim, ibig sabihin gumamit siya ng whitewash, gumamit siya ng harina at tubig lamang. Hindi siya gumamit ng cornstarch. Okay? So, okay lang sana. So, if we are going to deal with science, ano, so, kailangan lutuin mo muna. Kailangan may transfer of energy, may transfer of heat. Maluto muna yung harina para lumabas yung nutty flavor niya. Para lumabas yung tangking asim niya. Ano? Yung sour niya. Tapos, magamit ko na siya as a thickening agent. So, sabi nga natin yung beurre manier, di ba? Uncooked naman siya. Hindi naman siya naluto. Pero, there is what we call reaction coming from the fat, reaction coming from the oil. Pero ito kasi wala harina lang siya tsaka tubig. So basically ang matitikman mo talaga ay may angking asim na lasa yung harina. Nakuha po ba? So this is the thickening agent which is being introduced by Carême, no? So ayan. Another one is the design of kitchen tools and equipment. And also the chef uniform. So, sa kanya nanggaling yon, ano? Yung chef uniform natin, yung kitchen tools and equipment, hindi yan mag-e-exist because of Carême. Kaya nga kasabihin natin, no? Kung may father figure talaga like the science thing, okay? Ang father figure ng culinary is Marie Antoine Carême. Ayan. Marie Antoine Carême is also an author, no? He's an also he is an author, a writer of culinary books. And what I like, ito kumuha ko ng kanyang mga quotes, no? Quote unquote. Ito yung mga quotes na lagi nating naririnig. Kung pag-iisipan natin, okay, kung titingnan natin, ito ay nangyayari. The shorter the life, the greater the glory. So, para sa kanya, no? The shorter the life, the greater the glory. Kasi maaga rin naman siyang namatay. Ayan. So, para sa kanya, okay, it is, totoo nga naman, na if you die, okay, if you die young, you are gloried because, eto na. That is life. Di ba? The shorter the life, the greater the glory. Another one is, we must obey even when physical strength fails. But it's the burning charcoal that kills us. So, ito yung makikita natin ngayon, no? At mapapansin natin sa culinary industry. Yung mga chef, because of pride, tatapusin nila yung trabaho nila, no? So, even the body is weak, they will do it. Pero, ang pumapatay o ang nagpapa-aloof sa mga chef na gawin yung trabaho is the facility itself. Kaya kung titingnan natin yung sinabi ni Karim, no, it's the burning charcoal that kills us. Yung init ng kusina, yung that kills us. So dati naaalala ko, no, so if we are going to plate up food, pinapatay namin yung aircon, pinapatay namin yung electric fan. Why? Because we want the food to be hot. Kasi hot food, hot plate, cold food, cold plate. So that's kitchen life, no? So ganun siya. So yung init ng kusina, yung weather condition ng kusina, yung temperature condition ng kusina, it's totally different from the kusina nowadays. So ito, unti-unti na lang binabago because we have the machinery, because we have the equipment already. And pero during the previous time, so it's the burning charcoal that kills us, that kills the chef. Another, ito pa yung mga sikat na ginagawa ngayon because of the military thing, no? Only the chef has the right to speak. Everyone must obey. So, kaya nga tayo nanonood, di ba? Minsan nakikita natin si Gordon Ramsay. Yes, chef. Yes, chef. There are actually 3 responses inside the kitchen. One is what we call yes, chef. The other one is no, chef. And the third one is I don't know, chef. Okay? So, the less word, less mistake. Okay? So, yung tatlo na yon. Okay? So, no, chef. Yes, chef. I don't know, chef. And only the chef has the right to speak. So, kapag nagsabi siya, nagtumawag siya, and you have to acknowledge. So, military type, military type. Then you are going to what? You are going to be submissive on the chef itself. Ayan. So, ito yung mga famous lines. Ito yung famous quotes ni Marie Antoine Karim. Late 19th century. Ayan na. Late 19th century, it is the birth of what we call cuisine classique. Ayan. Or classic cuisine. And as well as during this 19th century, restaurants opened in America or United States of America. So if we are going to talk about cuisine classique, and the restaurants opened in America, ang isa sa mga natatanging chef within this one is Charles Ranhofer. So during the 1836 to 1899, Charles Ranhofer was the first internationally renowned chef of an American restaurant. So again, kung titingnan natin, he publishes what we call Franco-American. Still, wala naman talagang existing na American cuisine. Nako ha. So nag-base pa rin siya sa France. So Franco-American pa rin. And this Franco-American is what we call the Encyclopedia of Cooking. It publishes more than 3,500 recipes. But the base is still, kung titingnan natin, is a French cuisine. So, Franco-American. Nakuha po ba? So, ayan yung mga importante. Notable quotes and notable, tawag dito, notable ideas, notable written history ng Franco-American cuisines. When we talk about classic cuisine as well, so aside from Charles Fraunhofer, ito naman yung birth ni Auguste Escoffier. So, Auguste Escoffier during the 1846 and 1935. So, kung meron tayong abandoned child of Paris and worker ng tawag dito, helper ng cook na si Karim. Meron naman tayong isang batang-bata na chef na nag-start from the age of 13 at tinawag siyang Emperor of the World's Kitchen. So, kung meron tayong King of Cooks and Cook of Kings, so meron naman tayong Emperor na. The Emperor of Kitchen, World's Kitchen, is what we call, is Auguste Escoffier. Ang ginawa naman niya, so from the Grand Cuisine or Haute Cuisine, he was best known for defining the French cuisine. So, siya ang nag-exhibit ng skills sa mga finest hotels ng Europe. Di ba? So, ito na, lumabas na yung Savoy. Okay? So, ito na, lumabas na sila Ritz-Carlton. Ayan. So, yan yung mga nakuha yung mga nakasama ni Auguste Escoffier. So, what did Auguste Escoffier do? Auguste Escoffier did was this one. He simplified the work of Karim. Okay? Which is on its finest at that time. So, imagine, no? So, from the Grand Cuisine, Haute Cuisine, isi-simplificate. Okay? Isi-simplify mo. So, napakahirap na yon. So, ano ang ginawa ni Escoffier? He elaborate the system of sauces. So, from Karim, so, nagkaroon ng tinatawag na 5 mother sauces. So, ano nga ba yung 5 mother sauces na yon? Okay? Which is being used, di ba? Which is being used until today. So, kung titingnan natin, okay, so we have 5 mother sauces. And these 5 mother sauces includes white sauce. Okay? We have red sauce. We have brown sauce. We have the bland sauce. Okay? And we have the yellow sauce. Ayan. So, ano ba yung 5 mother sauces na yan? The 5 mother sauces includes a bechamel. Okay? The red sauce, or what we call tomat, or tomato. Okay? Brown sauce, meaning Espanol. Bland, meaning velouté, or velouté. And yellow, meaning Hollandaise. And these sauces are being used in most of the restaurant, okay? Most of the hotel restaurants, most of the hotel food facilities. So, ito yung mga sauces na kailangan. And, kailangan din to ng mga roux, ano? So, ito ay gumagamit ng roux. Ayan. Brown sauce ay gumagamit ng roux. Okay? Velouté ay gumagamit ng roux, of course. Yan. So, somehow, okay, if they would like the tomato sauce to be as thick as possible, so gumagamit din siya ng roux. But, if we are going to talk about these mother sauces, ayan, sa ating laboratory, makikita natin na, ito pala yon kung paano ginagamit. At hindi lang yon, ano, at ito ay, naglalagay din tayo ng mga stock dito. So, stock and, of course, other thing. So, kung white sauce siya, syempre gagamit tayo ng gatas. Okay? Kung brown siya, gagamit tayo ng brown stock. Of course. So, kung bland naman siya, gagamit tayo ng white stock. Ayan. Kung yellow, of course, hindi. Kasi this one is a fat or a butter. Okay? Plus egg yolk. Ayan. So, ito yung isa sa mga bases, no? Ito yung isa sa mga bases ng 5 mother sauces that a culinary student should know. And these are very basic na kailangan malaman nila. At kailangan nilang isa puso because ito yung foundation ng culinary. Ito yung foundation ng cooking. So, if sabi nga natin, di ba, pag pinag-usapan natin yung French cuisine, pag mahilig sila sa mga sauces. And these sauces includes always butter, cream, and wine. Ayan. Nakuha po. So, this is the work of Escoffier. And the work of Escoffier is more of what we call classic. Kasi ito yung ginagawa niya, no? He wants to simplify the grand cuisine. And classic cuisine relies on thorough exploration of culinary principle and techniques. It's not just because of tradition, but it's more of emphasizing the preparation and presentation, which is being derived from Auguste Escoffier. Auguste Escoffier, which is being derived from Carême. Okay, yung haute cuisine niya, tsaka grand cuisine. So, tingnan natin, no? So, meron tayong grand cuisine, meron cuisine classique, or classic cuisine, and cuisine bourgeoise. Ayan. So, mid-20th century. In the mid-20th century, they witnessed the trend towards lighter, more naturally flavored, and more simply prepared food. So, ayaw na nila ng medyo classic, ayaw na nila ng tradition, ng haute, ng grand. Ang gusto nila, natural, lighter, okay, and simple. Kasi nga naman, kung magluluto ako sa bahay, tapos ganun yung gagawin ko, mahirap maghanap ng ingredients, unang-una. Okay, so ano ba ang philosophy ng 20th century? Ito, rejection of overly rich, needlessly complicated dishes. So, tanggalin natin yon. Kailangan healthful eating. Ito yung mahalaga. Healthful eating. The methods of cooking are simply direct. So, pag sinabing saute lang. Pag sinabing grill lang. So, hindi na natin pakukomplikaduhin pa, no? Hindi na natin combination cooking. Hindi na natin paparamihan pa yung cooking natin. So, kailangan simple and direct. The garnishes are light, traditional to non-traditional ingredients. So, kung ano yung makita nating pang-garnish na pwede, so, na babagay sa kanya, so that's it. That's how mid-20th century goes. Sino ang nagpayabong nito? Ano? Sino ang isa sa mga founder nito? Ang isa sa mga founder nito is Fernand Point. Sino ba si Fernand Point? So, during the 1897 to 1955, Fernand Point is a good trainer. So, ang ginawa niya ay to study Escoffier work. Okay? He brings out the nouvelle cuisine. Okay? So, from classic cuisine of Escoffier, so, nilabas niya yung tinatawag na nouvelle cuisine. And, and nouvelle cuisine is one of the most popular cuisine at that time. He is the master practitioner of this movement. And, para sa kanya, no, he believed that the dish should have a dominant ingredient, flavor, and theme. So, kung titingnan natin, okay, kung titingnan natin ang mga sumusunod na bagay-bagay. So, from Marie-Antoine Carême, ano? So, from Marie-Antoine Carême, pumunta tayo kay Charles Fraunhofer. Okay? So, na-idol naman. Okay? Si Auguste Escoffier naman, na-idol niya si Carême din. Okay? Tapos, na-idol naman ni Fernand Point si Carême. Okay, but what does the cuisine all about? Ano? So, kung babalikan natin is from haute cuisine. Okay? From haute cuisine of Marie-Antoine Carême to cuisine classique of Auguste Escoffier. Ayan. So, tingnan natin from the nouvelle cuisine of Fernand Point. What is a nouvelle cuisine all about? Nouvelle cuisine is more about new cooking. So, sabi natin, di ba? So, if we are going to define nouvelle cuisine, dapat daw, there is what we call dominant ingredients. So, if we go along kung ano ba yung dominant ingredients, so let's look onto this picture.
Ano ba yung nakikita natin? Di ba shrimp, di ba prawn? Okay? So, pag tinignan natin yan, ang lasa niya ay ganito. Simple. Ganito siya. So, may isang garnish lang siya na konti. Okay? So, shorter cooking period. Okay? Tapos, innovative combination. So, hindi na komplikado. Nakatulad ng ginagawa nila Karim noon at ni Escoffier. Another prominent person of the time, aside from Fernand Point, is Paul Bocuse. Okay? So, si Paul Bocuse is one notable chef of all time. So, ang pinanggalingan naman ni Paul Bocuse is an apprentice of Fernand Point. So, tingnan natin, no? So, Paul Bocuse, Fernand Point, Auguste Escoffier, Ranhofer, then what we called Karim. So, ito yung mga pinanggalingan, ano. Si Paul Bocuse naman is more on traditional French cuisines, ano. Pero, embracer naman siya ng nouvelle cuisine. So, yun yung naging transition niya. Ang kaibahan naman nito ay, naalala nyo yung the movie Ratatouille. Ayan. So, the story of Ratatouille actually is hawig, okay, sa story ni Paul Bocuse. So, kung makikita nyo doon, not everyone, yung parang meron dong isang line sa Ratatouille na sinasabi niya, everyone can cook. Okay? And that line was actually from Paul Bocuse. Ayan. Ito yan. Late 20th century. So, ano pa ba yung nangyari noong late 20th century? The culinary have emerged in United States. So sabi nga natin, di ba? There's no such thing as what we call the American cuisine naman talaga. It is derived as well from the Franco-American, okay? Sa France and America cuisine. But because of the influx of cultures in America, so nagkaroon ng tinatawag na Americanizing the French cuisine, and they developed the new American cuisine. So, ito na yan. So, bakit? Kasi America is hot cuisine, tradition, and culture. And it ignited in America kasi diverse na masyado. So, marami ng culture sa America. Kaya nagkaroon ng New American Cuisine. So, what is a New American Cuisine? It begins in California. Okay? And spread across the states. So, ano-ano ba to? So, kung yung Californian Maki, kung matatandaan nyo, Californian Maki, it's not a Japanese cuisine. It emerges in California. Ayan. Kasi ginagawa nilang Americanize yung mga pagkain. Kasi iba-ibang country na eh. Iba-iba. Diverse culture na. May Vietnamese, may Asian, may European. Okay? So, lahat na ay influx sa America. And, of course, the New American Cuisine stresses the use of local seasonal produce or ingredients that emphasize the natural flavor, which is may pagkahawig sa nouvelle cuisine. Ayan. Fusion cuisine. Ayan. Ano naman yung fusion cuisine? Ang fusion cuisine daw ay paghaluin natin. So, parang Dragon Ball lang, no? Si Goku tsaka si Gohan. O kaya si Gohan tsaka si Trunks. Okay, nag-fusion sila. Fusion. Okay, so mix. Okay. Fusion cuisine is a blending of ingredients. Ano yung biniblend natin? It can be ethnic, it can be regional, it can be national, or in the same dish. Okay, so paano ba yon? So, halimbawa, from Korea and Japan, sa paghaluin natin. Di ba? So, from Philippines and Spain, paghaluin natin. And fusion cuisine tuloy. And cuisine is what we call transnational cuisine then. Okay? Or transitional cuisine, not transnational. Transitional cuisine. So, they blend one country food to another country. Ayan. So, fusion ang tawag doon. So, again, it can be ethnic, it can be regional, it can be national. Yan. Ano ba yung mga fusion cuisine natin? Halimbawa, pinakbet tsaka paella. Okay, pinakbet or pizza. Kaya nagkaroon ng pinakbet pizza. Di ba? So, something like that. Okay, so that is what we call fusion cuisine. Global cuisine. Pag sinabi natin namang global cuisine, meaning it is ubiquitous. Okay, kilala sa buong mundo. Or meron sa buong mundo. Kunyari, pumunta ako sa Egypt, merong curry. Okay? Pumunta ako sa Egypt, again, merong fries. Meron nga doon nakalagay na KFC, di ba? Okay? So, meaning it is ubiquitous. Often commercially produced. So, dahil commercially na siya napoproduce, lahat siya ay meron na sa buong mundo. Nakuha po? And they are what we call global cuisines. National cuisine. Okay, this is the debate sa Pilipinas, ano? Do we have what we call national cuisine? Meron ba tayong national cuisine? Ayan. We don't have national cuisine. We don't have national cuisine like Singapore, Thailand, and Spain. But we have regional cuisines. Ayan. So, kung sasabihin nyo sa akin ang national cuisine ay adobo, o sinigang, o tinola, no, it's not. Okay? So, kasi wala tayong national cuisine. We have regional cuisine. So, iba ang adobo ng Tagalog, iba ang adobo ng Mindanaoan, iba ang adobo ng Ilocano, for example. So, it differs and it varies. And adobo is not coming from the Philippines. Adobo is from Mexico. At kung sasabihin naman natin na sinigang, no. Iba naman yung sinigang. Iba yung sinigang ng Mindanao, iba yung sinigang ng Visayas. Di ba? Iba yung sinigang ng Ilocos, ng North. So, it's different. But we have many regional cuisines. And these cuisines and the recipes is based on local ingredients. It practices the tradition and the ingredients of the region. Nakuha po ba? Somehow, ang regional cuisine kasi is to create a national cuisine, they have to blend it together. Pero sa atin kasi, hindi tayo nagbe-blend eh. So, wala tayo. Wala tayong national cuisine. Marami tayong regional cuisine. Ethnic cuisine. Meron ba tayo sa Pilipinas na ethnic cuisine? Yes. We have ethnic cuisine from Cordillera regions. Okay, we have ethnic cuisine sa Mindanao. Okay, then what is ethnic cuisine all about? It's a group of people having common cultural heritage. Nakuha po? So, meron silang mga kakaibang luto, okay, na ginagawa and to become ethnic. Okay, so ito po yun. So, yung mga ethnic people natin o yung mga tribe natin ay merong paraan kung paano lutuin yung kanilang mga pagkain before. And it's being practiced until now, okay? Yung mga ethnic cuisines natin. So, if to sort it out, ano-ano nga ba yung mga founded cuisine natin? The founded cuisines are the following. So, we have Grand Cuisine, Classical Cuisine, we have Nouvelle Cuisine, we have New American Cuisine, Global Cuisine, National Cuisines, Regional, and Ethnic Cuisines. Ayan po. Okay, so aside from the cuisines, aside from the history itself, and the prominent thing na ginawa din ni Escoffier is what we call the kitchen brigade. Okay, La Brigada or La Brigade de Cuisine or du Cuisine. So, what is a kitchen brigade? A kitchen brigade is actually a composition of hierarchy level ng mga kusinero sa loob ng kusina. And it is being done to simplify, okay, to have a systematic program inside the kitchen. So, ano-ano nga ba yung mga nilalaman ng kitchen brigade? One is the head. Ang head natin ay meron tatlo. So, we have executive chef or chef de cuisine or what we call the head chef. And we have what we call the sous chef or the deputy chef or the second chef. And the third one is what we call the chef de partie or the third in command. So, kung susumahin, halimbawa, kung nagalit si executive chef, isa lang naman papagalitan niya si sous chef. Kapag nagalit naman si sous chef, isa lang naman papagalitan niya si chef de partie. Kaya lang, kapag nagalit si chef de partie, marami siyang papagalitan. Why? Because he has a lot of chefs to deal with. So, sino-sino ba yan? Okay. Station chefs or chef de parties. Okay? So, meron tayong mga station chef, no? So, we have the saucier, we have the poissonnier, we have the grillard, we have the fritorier, rôtisseur, and the entremetier. So, the station chefs included sauces, fish, grill, fry, roast, and vegetables. So, isang stasyon pa lang to. Iba't ibang stasyon. Station chefs. Okay, kung ikaw ay sauce chef, sige, ito. Kung ikaw is fish chef, ito yung gagawin mo. Another is what we call potager. So, soup under the entremetier. Okay, kung entremetier ka, under that one, meron ka pang mga chef na under sa'yo. So, that is what we call potager. And the other one is legume or the vegetable prep. Another from the station chef is the garmanze. Okay, the pantry. Patissier, pastry. Butcher, tournon, or the swing cook. So, isa sa pinakamahirap din ng chef de parties are the tournon. And sometimes, tournon, sila yung mga napopromote talaga, no? Because they know the different stations. So, they are what we call the swing. So, kung nagsuswing sila, okay, dapat alam nila yung bawat station. Halimbawa, walang patissier. So, punta si tournon. Walang saucier. Punta si tournon. Kasi nga, swing cook siya. And he must be knowledgeable of all the stations. Under the patissier, so sabi natin, ito yung patissier natin, pastry. Under patissier, you have what we call the boulanger or the bread maker, confiture, candies, decorateur, cakes, and chocolatier, which is confectionaries. Tapos, meron tayong understation chefs. Ano yung understation chefs? They have what we call demi-chefs or assistant and commis apprentice. So, kung iisipin natin, so going back, so sino ba si Paul Bocuse? Siya naman ay isang commis, isang apprentice. Di ba? Ni Fernand Point. Ayan. So, galing siya dun sa pinakamababa. Okay? Commis. Okay? Pinakamababa. And, if we are talking about the new trends ngayon, yung other kitchen brigade natin, this is according to American Kitchen Organization sana. Tinatanggalan natin yung mga na CDP or chef de partie. So we have shorten or sino-shorten natin kung ano yung kitchen brigade natin for easier task. Ginagamit lang yung large kitchen brigade kapag ito ay a large scale na restaurants or hotel. So kung mapapansin nito, di ba? Executive chef na lang, sous chef, tapos may cook ka, may garde-manger ka, may bakery and pastry. Kung mapapansin nyo, laging magkahiwala yung bakery and pastry, Kasi iba kasi ang bakery and pastry. Iba ang bread and pastry, it's more of exact science rather than the other stations. Ayan. And pag-aaralan nyo yon kapag meron na kayong bread and pastries. Highest level of achievements when it comes to the chefing na tinatawag. So we have master chef. Ito na yan, no? Meron ba tayong master chef dito? Okay? We have sa Pilipinas. So we have also master pastry chef. I know meron tayong master pastry chef, which is Chef Ernie Babaran. Okay? And of course, master baker. So saan ba sila Chef Boy Logro or sila Chef Sao del Rosario, for example. So, hindi ka alam kung saan sila na napapanig dyan. Pero ang isa sa alam ko sa master pastry shop natin, na merong isang distinction na ganon, is si Chef Ernie Babaran. Okay? Professional chef. So, if we are talking about professional chefs, lagi natin tandaan na there is no recipe. Okay? Walang recipe sa pag-produce ng isang magaling na professional chef. A professional chef should have this one. So, lagi yung tandaan. They should be knowledgeable. Okay, pinag-aralan nila yan. They have skills. Why? Because they practices. They have what we call taste. So, lagi nating tandaan na hindi lang porket kusinero, magaling kang magluto. Dapat magaling din yung panlasa mo. And they have also what we call judgment on how you deal with the food, how you deal with the people, not only with the food. Dedication of your job as a chef, and pride. Ha? And lagi rin natin tatandaan na you are a student And as a student chef, you will mature as a professional chef because this is the one that we are talking about. Knowledge. So, kung iisa-isahin na natin yan, knowledge, ito yan. Ibig sabihin na you can identify, you can utilize, you can prepare, because you are knowledgeable of it. Okay? You must possess a body of knowledge that understand the why and how and the principles of cooking. So, tingnan natin dito. So, inaalam natin kung ito ba ay scientific. Okay? Because, cooking is not all about cooking per se. It's more of science and arts. Yan. And knowledgeable about not only the food itself, but it understand the sanitation, nutrition, business procedures such as costing as well. So, darating ang mga time na pag-aaralan natin because this is more of what we call introductory, no? Skills. Yan. Time will hone your skills, so wag kang magmadali. Ano? Do not focus on climbing the ladder so much. Okay, time will hone your skills. So lahat nagsisimula sa mababa. Hindi yung pag-graduate mo agad, eto ka na. Okay? Practical hands-on experience will provide skills, nothing but practical. This is chefing all about, ano? It's not about kung ikaw ay gumraduate ng ganito, but no, it's about skills, it's about practical. Okay? Tandaan natin, time will hone your skills. Taste. Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina, di ba? You must be confident in the sense of taste. All senses are used for working. No matter how knowledgeable the skilled chef, he must be able to produce food that tastes great. So, tandaan nyo yan. Marunong ka dapat mag-season ng salt and pepper. Marunong kang lumasa ng masarap at hindi. Judgment. Judgment means you are knowledgeable and the skills play the role in developing the judgment. Lagi nating tandaan, because you are a student chef, that do not be upset or surprised when a dish turn out good or bad. So, lagi nyong isipin na you have to learn from your mistake, you have to learn also from your successes. Kung pangit yung luto mo, wag kang malungkot. Matuto ka dahil nagkamali ka. Kung maganda yung luto mo, matuto ka din. 'Di ba? Huwag ka rin malungkot, huwag ka rin maging masaya. Matuto ka din na pagbutihin pa kung ano man yung ginawa mo from that one. Learn from your mistakes as well as from your successes. Dedication. Yan. Ito yung isa sa mga hinahangaan natin, no, sa mga chef. The dedication. Lagi nating isipin na to be expected na ikaw ay maging isang seasoned chef, dapat ikaw ay well-seasoned, well-garnished, and well-presented. Hindi yung dugyot ka din tingnan, no? So, kailangan presentable ka din. We know chefing is toxic. We know that you work for long hours. It is hectic. It is pressured. But we have to know that being a chef is all about hard work. Ako, ha? It's all about hard work. So, kailangan paghirapan mo siya. Kaya nga, sabi natin, no, huwag tayong maniwala na you are a graduate of a culinary school na ganito ka na. But, no. Lahat tayo ay dumadaan sa pagiging estudyante and we have to learn the hard way. Pride. Yan. So, even though na meron tayong ganitong sistema sa pagiging chef, no, we have to know our obligation in the kitchen. A professional chef has a pride, okay? They extend their personal appearance and behavior. Kasi kailangan well-groomed and clean din tayo. Because we practice sanitation and safety. And we take honor of the things that we are doing inside the kitchen. Yung mga niluluto natin, yung ginagawa natin. And we take pride of it. Standards of professionalism. So, kung titingnan natin, so what are the standards of professionalism all about? Okay? Standard of professionalism includes positive attitude. Yan. Attitude, ano? So, hindi natin kailangan ng kailangan ng knowledge or something. Kailangan may attitude tayo. Lagi yun ang una. Staying power. Kasi long hours tayo. Bawal mapagod. Although nakakapagod siya, pero bawal mapagod. Ability to work people because you are not working alone. You are working with a team. Eagerness to learn, yes, because you are in the kitchen. You are not alone. You are with a lot of people, a lot of chefs that you will be working with. A full range of skills, of course. Development of skills are not being taught at once, not being learned at once. Okay? So, marami tayong skills na nakukuha. Why? It is because of experience. Dedication to quality, it is important because, ano ba yun? Bakit? Okay? Hindi pwede yung pwede na. So, kapag naglabas ka ng sunog na item, makakasanayan mo na sunog na item yung ilalabas mo. No, it's not. Pag sinabi natin hindi pwede, pwede, hindi pwede. Okay? It's something like this na, kunyari, kapag sinervan ka ba ng pangit, matutuwa ka. So, no. There is what we call dedication to quality. A good understanding of the basics. So, this is what we are doing. Ano? Okay? Hindi tayo pwedeng tumalon ng advance hanggat hindi natin nalalaman yung history of this. Hindi natin nalalaman kung ano ang pinanggalingan ng cooking methods. Ano ang pinanggalingan ng ganito. Okay? A good understanding of the basics is one of the important thing. Okay? Pagdating sa chefing. Okay? Pagdating sa standards of professionalism. Chef talk. Ayan. So, ano nga ba yung chef talk? This is the crowning element of the uniform. So, before, usong-uso yung chef talk, ano? Pero nowadays, sa mga modern chef natin, hindi na. Because it is a symbol. A symbol of what we call, a symbol of ranks. A symbol of hierarchy. Okay? A tall white hat worn by chef. Okay, so sabi na. Pero sino ba ang gumagamit talaga ng chef talk? Ang gumagamit talaga ng chef talk is during the monasteries, during the 16th century pa. Okay? Used by the priests, the bishops. Okay, di ba? Kung mapapansin nyo sa mga royalty na movie, European movies, that is the origin of what we call the talk, the chef's talk. And dati may signal, no? May symbol ang chef talk. If a flat talk, that's for beginner. A high talk, that's for advanced. Ayan. And when we talk about talks, there is what we call pleats. So, kung makikita nyo, may tiklop-tiklop yan. Ano? And the pleats is said to be 101 in all. Why? Because there are 101 ways a wearer can successfully prepare an eggs. So, if you know fried eggs, boiled eggs, scrambled eggs, so meron ka pang 90 plus na ways how to cook ng egg. Bago ka daw ma-awardan ng isang chef talk, ng original chef talk. So, that's the history of a chef talk and a talk pleats. And to end this one, lagi niyong tatandaan, and this is one of the thing na paborito ko rin, favorite ko din from the book of Ghislaine. Lagi niyo sa sinasabi, learning to cook is much more than simply learning how to follow a recipe. So, tama nga naman. So, if you get a recipe, okay, all you have to do is to read the recipe and understand and follow it. Same thing as learning how to be a chef and learning how to be a professional chef. And always remember, lagi nating tandaan, na even though we are a student chef, even though we are a student cook, okay, dito sa ating school, okay, always think of this. Think like a chef and not a cook. Why? A chef can what? Can direct orders. A chef can do things, okay? Do things which are impossible to make, okay, inside the kitchen. Parang sinasabi natin, di ba, a manager can do something out of nothing, and a manager is a chef, okay, and not a cook. Think like a chef and not a cook. Why? Kapag sinabing kusinero, utusan ka lang lagi, no? So, utusan kita, gagawin mo yan. So, there's nothing wrong with being a cook, pero we are more on higher learning, So, ang pinag-uusapan natin dito ay sooner or later, you will be in the industry of chefing. And you will be a chef. And you will not be a cook forever. Okay? With that, so thank you so much. Maraming salamat. Okay? And I hope you learn something from this lecture series that I have prepared. So, salamat and thank you so much.